Hi, Ashley here with HeartHookHome.com, and today we are learning how to do the crocodile stitch. The crocodile stitch is a beautiful, beautiful crochet stitch. It consists of two main portions. There's going to be a V stitch, which is the backbone to every crocodile stitch. See how there's a V there? There's the V stitch that you do one entire row of V stitches, and then you come through over those V stitches and you're doing double crochets, chain, and double crochets up the next side to create each crocodile stitch or dragon scale or dragon tier or however you're calling it for your pattern. Now it's important to note that for different patterns, it will call for different kinds of crocodile stitches. So for some, it's going to be half double crochets. For some, it'll be double crochets. Some patterns call for 5 double crochets, while some only call for 4. So really, once you get the main concept of the crocodile stitch down, the rest is just going to fall in naturally. So crocodile stitches are always worked, patterns are always worked in a 6-stitch repeat. Okay, so, or multiple of 6. So I'm going to go ahead and do 18 or so chains. And then I'm going to join so that I can show you how we're going to make each of those into V stitches that we can then work into crocodile scales, crocodile tiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's do 18. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now for most of the patterns that I use with crocodile stitches, they're going to be worked in the round. So we're just going to do this in the round. Now you can do, I'm going to join here. You can do whatever the pattern calls for. You know, you can do a flat panel if you'd like, or you can do your V stitches and turn and come back through. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Just what the pattern calls for. Now, in order to start my first row of V stitches, I'm going to chain 3 and double crochet in the same as join, and that will make a V. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to double crochet in the same stitch as join. Okay, so this will be our first V stitch. Now we're going to miss 2. And we're going to double crochet 2 times in the third. So here's the one we went into. So there's 1, 2, 3. So we're going to double crochet twice in that third chain. 1, 2. Miss 2. 1, 2, 3 into the third, 2 double crochets into the third, 1, 2. Now we're going to skip 2 more. So 1, 2, we're going to do 2 double crochets into this third one right here. 1 and 2. Now when we get to the end of this row, we're going to leave a couple chains there because that's going to give us the space that we need in between our V stitches. So now we're going to miss 2 again. So 1, 2, we're going to go into this one, 2 double crochets. 1, 2, and now we've got one more V stitch. So we're going to go 1, 2, and into this one here, number 3. And then we are going to join to the top of that very first V stitch. Okay, let's make sure that we don't have our yarn twisted. See all these beautiful little V stitches. We're going to join into the top of that chain 3. So there's chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. So we're going to slip into this one, both sides. Slip stitch, so pull that straight on through. And now we have a beautiful little circle of V stitches. So, like I said, when we're working our crocodile stitches, we work 5, well, for my pattern at least, for this pattern, we're working 5 down 1, chain 1, and 5 up the next. 5 down, chain, 5 up the next. So since these are double crochets, in order to get the stitch so where the first one isn't puckering up, we're going to chain 1 before we start working down this first post. So this is one V-stitch. This will be the right side of your crocodile stitch. This will be the left side of your crocodile stitch. So we're going to double crochet 5 times down this post. Okay, I kind of like to turn my work a little bit so that it's easier to hold. And that really is the key to completing these crocodile stitches, is knowing how to turn your work. So we're going to do 5 down this first one. So double crochet 1, double crochet again in the same space. This is 2, double crochet again, 3, double crochet again, 4, double crochet again, 5. So this is the first side, or the right side. Sorry, I gotta pull my yarn here. This is the first side of our crocodile stitch. So this goes 5 down, and this is the 5 down. So now that we've got our 5 going down, we're going to chain 1, because we always put a chain 1 at the bottom so that it doesn't curve too much. This makes it kind of pointier instead of curving all the way across. So now to work the second half, we're going to 5 double crochet up this side of the V-stitch. So this is where the turning comes into play. So in order to 5 double crochet up this side, it's really beneficial if you turn your work like this. Okay, so now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and end up at the top right here. Okay, so we're going to do 5 double crochets, all going up the second half of that V stitch. So this is 1. Then there's 2. See how I've kind of got it pulled up a little bit and away so that I can do all 5 of them in this hole. Here's 3. Here's 4. And here's 5. So this is the back side of it, and this is the front side of it. Isn't that pretty? So now, so that this isn't just flapping around over here willy-nilly, we are going to slip stitch into the center of the next V. So we're just going to slip that bad boy together, and that really locks that scale from going anywhere. So now we're not going to work a crocodile stitch down this one, we're going to crocodile stitch around this one. So with the one that you slip into, that's all you're doing, you're slipping to it, and that's it. So now we're going to 5 DC down this one, chain 1 for the pointy bottom, and 5 DC up the next side. So we'll do that real quick together, or slowly together. 1, double crochet, same hole. So this will be 2. You can kind of pinch your work a little bit to where it pulls that apart so that you can make sure that you're going into the same one each time. So this is 3. This is 4. And this is 5. And then we're going to do our chain 1 next. Okay, so we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we chain 1, and now we're going to go up the other side. So remember, we turn it, here's how we're going. So we're going to turn it this way so that we can go up the other side. So let's do 5 double crochets into this post, which is the left side of the V-stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All 5 worked up that same one. So now we've got our little thing just hanging out over here. So now we're going to slip stitch it to this one. So we're going to do the 5 down this first side. Pinch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to single crochet for the bottom, and we're going to turn this way to do our 5 DC up the next side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now when we get to the end here, and of course it depends on which pattern you're using, but we would normally slip stitch because this guy's floppy around over here, right? We would normally slip stitch into the center of this V. Personally, and what I call for in all of my patterns, including this leg warmer pattern and the gloves pattern and the queen purse pattern, is that when you get to the end, let me pull my yarn, I like to slip stitch. Sure, we're going to slip into the center of this V, but that kind of leaves this guy flapping around too. So when I say in my patterns, if you've got one, when I say slip stitch to the center of the last V, making sure to hook the corner of the first scale, this is what I mean, is this corner right here. So we go into the first one, right? And then we go into the V on the back side. And all that does is it pulls these corners together. So now we're going to slip through, pull it a little bit tight, and ta-da! Aren't those pretty little crocodile stitches? So pretty. Okay, so now we've got our first row of crocodile stitches completed. We're going to need to do a row of V stitches first, so that we have something to work the next row of crocodile stitches around. So we're going to chain 3, double crochet in the same space right here inside of this V stitch, double crochet, there's our first V, right? Now, we don't need any V stitches anywhere else except for in the center of these stitches. So we're going to 2 double crochet in the center of this crocodile stitch, 2 double crochet, there's a V stitch, so there's a V stitch and a V stitch, and now we're going to V stitch in between this V stitch. Okay, so we're going straight in the middle. Let's see if I can make this more obvious. We're going to 2 double crochet into the V stitch in the middle there. So 1, if I can work it. Okay, 2, all right, and there's another V stitch. Now we're going to V stitch into the center of this one. And all of these stitches is those 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to go into the center of this one twice. And now we're going to do 2 in the center of this crocodile stitch. And now we are back to the beginning. So what we're going to do to join these V stitches so that they line up nice, we're going to slip stitch through the top of that chain 3. So there's chain 1, chain 2, this is the chain 3. So we're going to slip stitch into this guy, both sides. Okay, slip, stitch, and now we are ready to do the next row of crocodile stitches because we're going to 5 DC down this one, chain, 5 DC up this one, and that creates the nice staggered effect so that you've got these 2 and then 1 in between it, and then 1 on the other side and 1 on the other side and 1 in between it, so that they're staggered, you know, offset, so that they look as pretty as possible. So in my pattern, or in whatever, follow whatever pattern you're following, but in my pattern, we always chain 1 so that the side doesn't get too crimped up right there. So now we're going to do 5 double crochets down one side, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when we're done with this one, we'll chain 1 to get the nice pointy little bottom. Boop. And now there's the one side. So what are we going to do? We're going to flip it like this, and we're going to go 5 up this side. So 5 double crochets all around this same post. I like to pinch it after I turn it. It's the turn and pinch, you guys. Turn it and pinch it. So this will be number 2, number 3, number 4, and then number 5. And now that our crocodile stitch is complete, we are going to slip stitch into the top of this one. Remember, when we slip in a V, when we slip stitch in a V stitch, that's all we're doing is we're slipping. So now we're going to do a crocodile stitch on this one so that it straddles these 2 crocodile stitches. So see how nice that lays out? Just kind of makes it nice and pretty. So now we're going to do 5 down this one, chain 1, 5 up the next one. And that really is as easy as it is. I know it looks kind of difficult, and the process, you know, is kind of intimidating, and it does use a lot of yarn, but that effect is just so pretty. I just love it. So I'm going to create a few more of these a little faster, and when I get to the end, we're going to do another row of V stitches so that we are sure we know what we're doing as far as the V stitches go. And then if you ever have any questions on how to work these V or crocodile stitches or any kind of stitch, especially ones that I have on my own blog on Heart Hook Home, you can always shoot me an email or shoot me a message on our Facebook group on Heart Hook Home Crochet Community on Facebook. And I will be able to answer those as quickly as possible. And if you ever need to count however many you have, like if your son is talking to you like mine is right now, you can count them by going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember that we're slipping into the next. And then we're going to crocodile stitch around the next. So we're going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, turn the opposite direction and go 5 up this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and remember, in my patterns, and even if you're not working one of my patterns, if you want to have it just be as nice and clean as possible, this right here, the very first one, sometimes it helps if I pull this out a little bit so that I can get my hook over as far enough. But we're just going to go into this first DC, right, from that first stitch, crocodile stitch, and then go into the V stitch from there. And then you can kind of pull it tight so that you can do your slip without it falling apart. Okay, so now in order to start the next row of crocodile stitches, we are going to go 1, 2, 3. Create that V stitch by going into the same as join and do a double crochet, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and then 2 double crochet in this last one. And that is it, folks. That is it.